Right after I paid off their $212,000 mortgage, I got an anonymous video of my family selling the same house behind my back. They laughed about keeping an extra $40,000. I sent the video to the group chat, canceled the payment, showed up with the deed, and what I found inside was worse. I was dozing off when my phone started buzzing like crazy on the nightstand. It was 3 a.m. Who the heck was texting me at this hour? My brain was all fuzzy from being super tired, and I was still wrapping my head around the fact that just yesterday, I wired the last mortgage payment for my parents' house, $212,000. All paid off. I thought I'd be relieved, but I just felt kind of empty. The message came from some random number. It said, "Watch this now," and had a video attached. I was curious but also kind of cautious, though in my sleepy state, curiosity won. I hit play. The video started with some shaky footage from inside my family's house. I could hear my sister's voice, loud and clear. "This guy thinks the house is paid off. What a joke," she said. The camera moved to the living room, where my dad was laughing and holding a beer. My mom was sipping wine and smirked at someone off camera, saying, "40 grand extra, and it's yours." Then, this guy I didn't know showed up on the screen, looking rough and super happy. "He thinks it's his. You serious?" My sister snorted. "Yep. Paid it all off, too. But for an extra 40, it's yours." They all burst out laughing. My hands went numb, and the phone almost slipped from my grip. I watched the video again, hoping I misunderstood, but nope, they were talking about selling the house I just paid off for them. I wanted to scream or chuck my phone at the wall, but instead, I sent the video to the family group chat with a simple caption, "Explain." No one replied. 20 minutes later, I canceled the last mortgage payment that had just gone through. If they were selling, they weren't going to do it on my dime. I took the deed from the drawer, my name was still on it. I wasn't about to be played like a fool. I got dressed and drove to the house, no calls or texts, just marched up to the door, clutching the deed like it was my lifeline. Inside, I faced the real shock. My family looked at me with those same blank, calculating faces I couldn't stand. My sister, Kelly, was lounging on the couch, scrolling through her phone. My dad leaned against the kitchen doorway, arms crossed with that smug smirk on his face. Mom, always the silent partner in crime, pretended to mess with the blinds. I demanded to know what was up with the video, waving my phone around. Silence, then Kelly sighed and glanced up with an eye roll. "Oh, that?" She laughed. "Come on, it's just a joke." "A joke?" My voice was shaky. "You're selling the house I just paid off for an extra 40,000. Behind my back." Dad cut in, all calm, like he was explaining something super obvious. "Not selling, renting. It's just a business decision. We needed extra cash." "Business decision? This isn't your house to sell," I snapped, throwing the deed on the coffee table. "Look, my name is on the mortgage. I paid for it, all of it." Dad's smile vanished as he came forward, face darkening. "You paid because we let you," he shot back. "You wanted to feel important. You wanted to be the hero. Well, now you are. Congrats." "You're twisting everything," I whispered, my voice cracking. "I helped because you needed me. You said this was our family home." Mom finally chimed in, her voice all soft and pleading. "It is. For all of us." "All of us?" I retorted. "Or just you three? You didn't even tell me about renting it out. You lied. You took advantage of me." Kelly leaned back with a cruel smile. "Used you? Don't be dramatic. You'd do anything for our approval. It's sad, really." The room spun, my chest tightened. Years of sacrifice, sleepless nights over their bills and mine, all reduced to a joke. I turned to Mom. "Did you know about this?" Her eyes dropped to the floor. "Your father said it was just temporary." "Temporary?" I yelled, "Then why the extra 40,000? Why record yourselves laughing about me?" Dad growled, stepping closer. "That money was never yours. The house was never yours. You never saw me as a person, just support, a means to an end." My hands shook. I paid their debts, their mortgage, their vacations, Kelly's credit cards. "I did everything for this family," I said. "We never asked you to," Kelly sneered. "You did it to feel like a savior. News flash, no one cares." Silence filled the room, a kind that roars in your ears. I looked at the people I once called family, their faces twisted with annoyance, not shame, just irritation that their scheme was disrupted. "Get out," Dad said coldly. I laughed, a hollow, bitter laugh. "This is my house. I paid for it. You want me to leave your house?" Dad stepped forward again. Your name may be on the deed, but this is our home. We built this life. You just funded it. Something inside me snapped. I picked up. I grabbed the deed, clutching it tightly in frustration, but then tossed it back onto the table. You want it? Fine, keep it, but don't expect me to stick around, I said, storming towards the front door. Just as I was about to leave, Kelly's voice stopped me. Wait, aren't you forgetting something? She laughed, holding up her phone. Say cheese. The flash went off. I'll post this in the group chat, our dramatic bro throwing a tantrum. Classic. I was fuming, everything was a blur. I picked up the deed one more time, still boiling with anger, and then placed it back down. Go ahead, I snarled. But when this whole thing collapses, and it will, don't count on me helping next time. I slammed the door so hard it echoed into the night. Even as I walked away, their laughter was like a shadow following me. But deep down, I knew I wasn't going to let this go. I was just getting started. As soon as I got home, I didn't bother to take off my coat or sit down. I grabbed my laptop and played the video, the one where they were laughing about selling the house that I paid for. I watched it over and over again. Their laughter, Dad's voice saying, he thinks it's his. Another 40 grand and it's yours. I saved the video, backed it up. This wasn't just proof, it was my weapon. But I knew just exposing them wasn't enough. They were pros at twisting stories to make me look bad. I needed a better plan. I texted the family group chat, we need to talk. Family meeting tomorrow. I want to fix things. Dad replied almost immediately, finally, you're coming to your senses. Mom chimed in with her usual sweet guilt tripping, we love you, honey. Let's work it out. Then there was Kelly with her snarky tone, don't turn this into a drama. Little did they know, I had a surprise guest. I booked a private room at a restaurant, the same one where we'd celebrated birthdays and anniversaries, now just bitter memories. I got there early and told the waiter to only serve water, I wanted everything crystal clear. When they walked in, Dad looked all smug, Mom had her worried face on, and Kelly was acting like this was just another one of her shows. Thanks for coming, I said, motioning for them to sit. We're here because we care, Dad said, crossing his arms. I didn't bother responding. Instead, I placed my tablet in the center and hit play. Their voices filled the room, crystal clear, the laughter, the deal, the extra 40 grand. Kelly's mocking tone, Dad's scheming voice. Their faces turned ghostly pale. This is just a misunderstanding, Dad stammered, reaching for the tablet. I pulled it back. A misunderstanding? You were selling the house I paid for. And you laughed about it. It was just a joke, Mom whispered. A joke? Selling my house is a joke, or are you just sorry you got caught? The door opened, and they turned to see a middle-aged guy with graying hair and a pretty intense expression. Their faces paled immediately, they recognized him. Drake, I said, waving him over. Glad you could make it. Dad's voice shook. You invited him here? Of course, I replied. After all, you were trying to sell him my house. Drake's eyes were like ice. You told me it was your house, he growled at Dad. A family property. It is, Dad said, his voice faltering. It's our family home. No, it's not, I said, throwing a folder on the table. It's mine. My name's on the mortgage. My money paid for it. And guess what else I found? I pulled out another set of papers. Care to explain this? Dad's face twisted as he scanned the documents, his eyes wide. This is a second mortgage, I interrupted. A loan against my house using forged documents. My signature, my ID, Mom gasped. No, there must be a mistake. No mistake, I snapped. You stole from me. Tried to sell my house. Forged my name. You don't understand, Dad's voice cracked. We needed the money. We thought. You thought I'd just keep paying, keep sacrificing, I whispered, like a fool. Drake stood up, his chair making a loud scraping noise. I'm calling the police, he announced, pulling out his phone. Wait, please, Mom's voice was frantic. We can fix this. We're family, I laughed. Family? Is that what you call this? Lies, theft, betrayal. Please, son, Mom was crying now. But Dad, his face was twisted with rage. You think you've won, don't you? You think this is over? Oh, it's just getting started, I said, standing up. Enjoy your family home. I headed to the door, and that's when I heard Kelly's voice. Wait, you don't know everything. This was Dad's idea. I didn't even want to sign it. I turned slowly. Sign? You sign the documents? Her face went ashen. Dad's eyes blazed with rage. Shut up, Kelly. But it was too late. I stormed out, catching a glimpse of the horror setting in on her face. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. And hit the notification bell to stay updated with more crazy real-life stories happening around you. So, 2 hours after that chaotic mess, I was home when my phone buzzed with a notification. I checked it to find an email from some anonymous account. No message, just an attachment. Naturally, my curiosity got the better of me, and I downloaded it. It turned out to be an audio file. Hitting play, I heard Kelly's voice, nervous and shaky, saying she signed the documents and was promised it was just a formality, that he'd never find out. Then, my dad's confident voice chimed in, saying not to worry, he's too dumb to put it all together, and even if he did, they'd just cover it up like always. I sat there, seething with anger, realizing they were all part of it. They always had been. But now I had the evidence I needed to finally knock their whole scheme down. When I left that abandoned house with stolen documents and messed up photos, I knew exactly what to do. I didn't even bother going home. I drove straight to the bank, ignoring the fact that they were about to close. I marched up to the counter, slammed the bag down, and demanded a word with the branch manager. Within 5 minutes, I was in his office, presenting the fake documents and dodgy loans with my name on them but not my signature. The guy went white as he looked through them. "Sir, this is serious fraud," he stuttered. "No," I leaned in, correcting him, "this is a crime. Freeze every account tied to these folks, launch a full investigation, and give me a statement saying I was conned with forgery." He didn't put up a fight. Within minutes, calls were made, security beefed up, and my family's accounts locked down. From there, I headed straight to the courthouse, not caring about the time. Filing the lawsuit was quicker than I thought: fraud, embezzlement, identity theft. The clerk looked over my pile of evidence and shook his head, almost pitying them. "They won't know what hit them," he muttered. Good. I didn't want pity, I wanted justice. But I wasn't finished. At home, I grabbed my phone and opened up the family group chat. I didn't ask for any explanations, I just sent a bunch of pics of the forged documents and the mangled family photos. My name was written on papers I'd never even seen. The chat blew up almost instantly. Mom was all, "Please, honey, we can talk about this," while Dad tried to justify it with, "You don't understand, it's not what it looks like." Kelly was begging for a chat to sort it out. I ignored them, blocked their numbers, but still wasn't done. I needed to see for myself, confront the place where they tried to bury me. I went back to the empty house, the silence now a deafening echo bouncing off the bare walls. Nothing remained but shadows and emptiness. They'd erased me, sucked everything I worked for dry, and vanished like ghosts. But the basement, that's where the real truth was stashed. I headed down those creaky stairs, flashlight cutting through the darkness. The chest was still there, documents and photos scattered on the cement. But I spotted something else, a dusty box shoved in the corner. I dragged it out, pried it open, and froze. Inside, family albums lay mocked with every photo altered. My face was scratched out, entire pages missing where I should have been, as if I never existed. Anger swelled inside me. I grabbed the albums and fake documents, ready to leave that shadowy dungeon for good. They thought they could erase me, laugh behind my back, sell the house I paid for, but I was done being their ghost. The next morning, the bank called. My dad couldn't access his frozen account, Mom's credit card was denied. Kelly's car loan, blocked. They were stuck. And the real battle was about to start. The lawsuit papers were served right at their doorstep in their new rented place. A buddy of mine sent me a picture showing Dad's shocked face, Mom in tears, Kelly yelling at the delivery guy. They tried reaching me, calls, emails, even roping mutual friends into their sob story. "He's wrecking his own family," they claimed. But I had the truth. I sent it to anyone who'd listen. Days turned into weeks, and soon the court date arrived. They showed up looking ghostly, desperate, clinging to weak excuses. Meanwhile, I walked in calm and collected, a file of cold, hard evidence under my arm. The judge didn't even take an hour. The fake signatures, the shady loans, the altered photos, it was undeniable. My family tried to speak, but their lies unraveled before they even got started. When the verdict came, it was harsh. They were ordered to pay back every cent I had spent on them, from utilities to vacations. And the house? It was officially, fully mine. They looked at me, huddled as if I was the villain in their twisted tale. "Please," Mom whispered, tears streaming. "We can fix this. We can be a family again," she repeated. "No," I replied, my tone as icy as ever. "I've already got my family." "Me?" Ignoring her, I turned on my heel and walked out. But things weren't quite over. When I got back to my place, they were there waiting by the gate. Dad was pacing, looking furious, his face beet red. Mom was in tears, holding on to Kelly, who shot me a look full of pure spite. "You think you've won?" Dad shouted as he stepped forward. "You think you can just delete us from your life?" I chuckled. "Delete you? You erased me the moment you started ripping me off and lying to me. All you've got now is guilt, so go ahead and live with it." Mom reached out with a desperate please, "Honey," but I backed off. "You're not my family. You're strangers I regret wasting my time on." With that, I walked through the gate, locked it behind me, and headed inside. That night, I changed the locks, big, strong ones. Each turn of the key reminded me they couldn't just waltz back in and claim my space. I got busy painting the walls a fresh white, putting up bright curtains that let the sun flood in. One by one, I revamped the rooms they'd drained of life. New furniture and appliances, all mine. The silence wasn't empty anymore, it was blissful. The real win came a few weeks later when a check rolled in. $32,000. The first bit of the money they had to repay me. I just stared at it for a while, like it was this piece of them holding on to what's left. But hey, I cashed it without a second thought. And more kept coming. The envelope said Mom's shaky handwriting, Dad's angry signature, and even an apology note from Kelly. "I'm sorry. Please let this end." But it was no longer my problem. They could cry and beg all they wanted, none of it mattered now. The money piled up, and with every dollar, I felt lighter. By the end, they'd paid back $52,000. I wasn't just free, I was better off. But it was more than just the money. It was about the quiet. No more texts, no more guilt-tripping calls, no more family group chats mocking me. My phone was finally clean. I used the money to finish my house, a solid oak dining table, plush leather couches, and walls filled with my own photos, moments I captured for me. One night, I found the old chest from the basement, full of shredded photos and fake documents. I dragged it outside, lit a small fire in the metal barrel we used for garden waste, and watched it burn. The flames consumed the remnants of their betrayal, turning it all to ash. As the smoke swirled into the air, I felt a weird kind of peace wash over me. They'd tried to take everything, tried to erase me, but they ended up paying for every wrong, every lie, every wound. I wasn't their savior or their victim. I was free. I was still on the porch when a familiar car pulled up. It was Matt, Kelly's ex. We'd barely talked before, but here he was with a six-pack of beer. "Didn't think you'd actually text me back," he said. "I wasn't sure it was you," I admitted, "but I figured it had to be." He laughed. "Yeah, that was me. I shot that video. I couldn't watch them bleed you dry any longer." "Why?" I asked. "Well," he said, leaning against the railing, "because they did the same to me. Kelly wanted me to take out loans for her fake business ideas. When I refused, she dumped me. We stood there for a while, just soaking in the quiet. 'I guess I owe you,' I finally said. 'Nah,' he grinned, seeing their lives fall apart as thanks enough. He offered me a beer, but I set it down. 'Thanks, Matt. Take care.' As he headed back to his car, I stayed on the porch, feeling the cool night air. No ghosts, no debts, just me. For the first time in years, I felt truly at peace.